We are so glad that you were able to come for this webinar on Student to Startup, an introduction to the New York Business Plan Competition. I am your moderator for today, Jenny Alton from the New York Small Business Development Center Central Office. And you will see on your screen James Willey, who is an advisor at our Mohawk Valley Regional Center. And so he is presenting for you later. The NYSBDC is a U.S. Small Business Administration resource partner with regional centers at higher education institutions and outreach offices at other locations across New York State. Our free advising, education, research, and advocacy services are made possible by funding from the SBA, New York State, and our host campuses. Now you will be seeing two other people on your screen today, and we are so pleased to welcome Shelby Schneider, who is President and CEO of Upstate Capital, and Thomas Boomhower, Senior Director of Program Management at Upstate Capital. So you will see Shelby and Thomas first in our presentation today. So you know, we are recording. We will share links to a PDF copy of the slides and the recording in a follow-up email. Attendees are muted and will not be on camera, and your chats will be visible to me and our presenters. We are expecting a full crowd today, and so we want to direct you to the Q&A box for your questions. That will help us stay organized with answering questions. And anytime throughout the presentation, open that Q&A box and type a question in, and we will address all those questions in a Q&A session after we finish the presentation material. All right, that is all of my housekeeping. So Shelby, I will now turn the time over to you.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm Shelby Schneider, as Jenny had mentioned, the relatively new president and CEO of Upstate Capital Association of New York. Just to give you a little background, Upstate Capital is a membership network of private equity, venture investors, merger and acquisition professionals, entrepreneurs, and ecosystem support organizations from across upstate New York. We work to increase access to capital and deal flow across upstate by connecting founders to investors, building stronger regional markets, and supporting entrepreneurship, education, and ecosystem partnerships across the state. Through our educational 501c3 Capital Foundation of New York, Upstate Capital has led the New York State Business Plan competition since 2018. The Capital Foundation's mission is to advance entrepreneurship across New York by developing entrepreneurial mindsets and skills, building connections between students and broader business community, and helping to launch new ventures. The NYBPC itself began in 2010, actually by Sunipali, and over the years has served thousands of students and helped launch hundreds of ventures across the state. And you'll learn a little bit more about that in Thomas's presentation. Today's session, hosted by NYBPC and the New York SBDC, will walk you through how to participate in the 2026 NYBPC, the competition's mission and impact, the real entrepreneurial skills and meaningful connections that students will gain by competing. You'll also hear about statewide guidance, mentorship opportunities, and business development resources available to help you prepare. Preparation really does matter, and the Capital Foundation and NYBPC run robust mentorship programming, including Mentorship Plus, that matches students with judges, mentors, and experienced entrepreneurs. We will also work closely with SBDCs across the state to offer free advising, workshops, pitch coaching, and one-on-one support to help teams sharpen their plans before the regionals and finals. If you're not sure where to start, please connect with your regional organizer or the Mohawk Valley SBDC after this session to get individualized support. But we are so excited to help you take your idea and turn it into a real venture, and to see so many students across the state build the skills and connections that will last long after the competition. So now I'm proud to hand things over to Thomas Boomhower, who will walk you through the program, key timelines, and many ways that you can get involved as a student, mentor, judge, or NYBPC champion. So Thomas, please take it away, and thank you for your time today. Happy venturing.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Shelby, for that warm introduction and for teeing up a little bit of information about the NYBPC. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to talk about what exactly the NYBPC is. Shelby already covered a lot of this, but the NYBPC is the largest and premier student business plan competition in New York State. We cover all 10 regions, so everything from New York City to the North Country and Western New York to the Capital Region. We really focus in on a three-part mission to develop entrepreneurial mindset and skills, and to connect our participants to the larger ecosystem in New York to help them understand the resources available and what they need to succeed, not just during the competition, but beyond. And students, like I said, compete from across the state, first in regional competitions, and then selected teams advance to the statewide finals to compete for up to $100,000 in prizes, and the top team usually takes home $25,000. This highlights some of the community impact that we've had across the state to date. Like Shelby has mentioned, we've had a pretty robust participation. So since 2010, over 8,000 students have participated and competed in the NYPPC. We've had a lot of impact on the economy here in New York and beyond, with $150 million, including follow-up funding for over 100 startups that have participated in the NYBPC. And our participants have launched hundreds of innovative solutions, patented incredible technologies, and more. We're also really proud of our participation from underrepresented historically founders. So typically about 70% of our teams self-identify as having a founder from an underrepresented background. And we're also especially proud of our judge participation because we have a robust crop of judges every year that come from really incredible community organizations, experienced entrepreneurs, experienced funders, and from top companies. So we know that our participants are leaving with a lot of really great feedback and action items for their venture as well. This is just a highlight of the 2025 competition. So drilling down what I just talked about, giving you an example of what it looks like on a given year. So last year we had 644 students participate. They represented 365 different teams. They came from 65 colleges and universities, again, spread all across the state. And 66% of our teams last year had at least one participant that self-identified as having an underrepresented background historically in this kind of entrepreneurial ecosystem. And to touch on our judges and mentors, each year about 200 judges and mentors can participate in the competition. They come from top companies. Last year, we had judges from Microsoft, IBM, Adobe, Intel, HelloFresh, Dell, Google, GE, Oracle, and a lot more. And that's last year, but it's representative of the type of judges we bring in every year. They also come from cutting edge organizations like Columbia Tech Ventures, the Eastern New York Angels, the Good Neighbor Fund, Oculus Ventures, Pellet Ventures, Launch New York. And again, that's just a handful of organizations that our judges come from. This is a highlight of where teams came from last year. So as you can see, spread across the state, last year there were 60 in the Capital Region, 43 in the Finger Lakes and Mid-Hudson regions, 38 teams came from New York City, 37 each from the North Country and Mohawk Valley, 36 from Central New York, 34 from the Southern Tier, 26 from Western New York, and 19 from Long Island. And this is really great because in addition to the opportunity to connect with judges and mentors, it also gives a chance for the next generation of entrepreneurs, the next generation of innovators to connect with one another and build networks across this great state of ours. Okay, I wanted to share a video from Josh Aviv of Spark Charge, which is one of the more notable NYBPC past participants.
Hello everyone, my name is Josh Aviv. I'm the founder and CEO of Spark Charge. At Spark Charge, we're creating the world's first mobile, intelligent, and on-demand EV charging network. Or with our mobile app, currently, an electric vehicle owner can have range delivered to them with the push of a button anytime and anywhere they want. No more waiting in line, no more waiting at charging stations. EV owners can have range delivered at their home, at their office, on the go, whenever and wherever they want range. We were very fortunate to win the New York State Business Plan competition many years ago. And through winning the New York State Business Plan competition, we were able to develop one of our first ever prototype charging stations that has now evolved into a multi-million-dollar business. We also received a ton of mentorship, guidance, and help from the New York State Business Plan team, and we've been able to grow our company from 4 people when we first won the award, now to a team of almost 35 people. We now have offices spread across the United States in California, New York, Massachusetts, and Texas. And most recently, with the closing of our Series A, the company is now valued at over $100 million. Thank you to the New York State Business Plan competition for all the work that you've done. Thank you for helping SparkCharge truly become a New York State success story. Take care. Have a great day.
And I mean, that's just representative of what we are trying to accomplish here, right? Is give students the resources they need to succeed and the push they need to succeed. And the other thing about SparkCharge is they're nationwide, which is pretty incredible. They are have their chargers not just in the US, but also in Mexico and Canada as well. So that's kind of highlights of what past participants have looked like, what they've accomplished, what our competition has done, what it represents. But how do you compete? Who's eligible to compete? So the long and the short version of it, and there's more information on our website in the rule book at nybbpc.org. But students are eligible to participate. And we define students as being enrolled at least part-time at a college or university in New York State during the current academic year. If you are looking to participate, we do limit students participating to only one team per year. So if you have a couple of friends that are participating, you have to pick one, unfortunately. If you have a couple of ideas you think would be winners, you got to pick the best one. On a similar note, you can only participate in one region per year. So if there are team members for a venture in different regions, let's say one is at SUNY Poly, one is at UAlbany, you have to pick one region to participate in. The venture or business participating must be majority student owned, so at least 51% owned by a student, and it must also have raised less than $100,000. The easiest way to participate is to sign up at NYBPC.org. That is our website. There's a little snapshot here on the slide. You're going to navigate over to the sign up page where you will sign up to participate. We will have to manually approve your account. I do that a couple times every day. And then once that happens, you can submit your executive summary and other information about your businesses. We use that information to sort you into tracks, make sure you're assigned to the appropriate region and all that info. And I'm going to dive into what the tracks are on the next slide. Another important thing to do is to connect with your regional organizer. That is also available under the students section on the website. And we're going to have information on that in a couple of slides as well. And from there, you're going to get ready to present. So our tracks are designed to capture sort of industry sectors as well as what your actual business does or what your business is. And these are the same tracks that the NYBPC has used for the last couple of years. So there's safety, power, and mobility, which is usually made up of businesses in defense, energy, climate tech, kind of first responder infrastructure, things like that. There's health and well-being, which is designed to capture businesses in the health space. So that could be life sciences, med tech, wellness kind of brands or companies like that. Food and ag tech is pretty straightforward. Fortunately, it's businesses operating in the ag tech space and food products innovations in that space as well. Learn, work, and live is designed to capture education-based businesses, community building, productivity businesses, and fintech, things of that nature. Products and hardware and software and services are catch-alls that are designed to both capture businesses that don't neatly fit into the other categories, as well as give a little bit of flexibility. So products and hardware is obviously if it's a more physical uh, venture or product and it doesn't fit neatly into the other categories, chances are it would be there. Software services by a similar bent. If it's a more intangible, if you have a software, you're going to be sorted into there. Presentation guidelines. So once you're sorted into the tracks, time to present, right? Um, the format varies slightly by region, but by and large, we stick to this format. But the best thing to do is to connect with your regional organizer on specifics of your individual competition. Teams have up to 8 minutes to present, with 6 minutes, not counting that initial eight, for Q&A. So it's really important to hone down that initial 8 minutes to ensure you're able to talk about everything that you want to and put your best foot forward for your business. We have templates of both executive summaries and slide decks available on the website, and we also have examples on our website, nybpc.org. Those aren't designed to be the only options for you, but they're to get you started and give you a look at what is expected. Some tips that James is going to dive more into during his slides, but your presentation should cover the following. What is your business model? Who's on the team? What are the products and services that you're offering? What is your competitive position and what market information do you have to date? So this is one of the more important slides I have for you. It's the timeline. So right now, applications are live. You can go on nybpc.org and submit your business to participate in the competition. We are closing applications on March 8th. So that's to give people plenty of time to formulate an idea and get started here. Submissions, which are different from applications, applications are how we sort you into the appropriate tracks and the appropriate regions. The submissions are the actual slide deck and the materials you're going to be using during the day of the competition. The submissions for those depend on the region, but are usually a week or a couple days before that competition is held. We have the regional dates on the next slide. Regional competitions are held in mid-March to early April, and they involve their sitz traps. Students are sorted into there. So students are broken up into those tracks. They pitch their competitions. I'm sorry, they pitch their products to their judges, and the selected teams advance from each of those traps from the regions to our finals. Our final competitions are broken into 3 rounds. The first round is designed to further narrow the field who participate in the in-person finals. That's held online. So submissions are due April 7th for that, and judging is done by April 14th, so that teams have enough time to hone their presentation before the in-person finals on April 22nd. This year, we're proud to be hosting the finals at the Golisano Institute in Rochester. It's the first time it's been held out in that part of the state, so we're really excited to get the competition out there. And the in-person finals are further broken up. So first round of the in-person finals, second round of the finals overall, kind of replicates the regional competition, where again, the competitors are broken into the 6 tracks, and the winner of each track then advances to the grand prize round to compete for the $25,000 prize. And we have more information on that on the website as well. So the actual dates, a couple are still being finalized, but Capital Region is going to be held March 27th. That's online. Central New York, we have details coming soon. Finger Lakes, March 31st at St. John Fisher University. Long Island is going to be held April 1st at SUNY Farmingdale. Mid-Hudson Valley, March 25th at SUNY New Paltz. Mohawk Valley, April 3rd at SUNY Polytechnic. New York City, March 24th at Touro University. And the North Country, March 27th at Clarkson. Southern Tier, March 27th, that's also online. And the Western New York regional competition is held at the University at Buffalo, and that date is being finalized, but coming soon. And again, feel free to reach out if you need that reminded. It's also on our website. And here's some contact information for your regional organizers. This is also available on our website. And feel free to shoot me an email as well if you need to be connected. But Western New York, we're thrilled to work with Kelsey Wagner at University of Buffalo. For the Capital Region, we worked with Heidi Knobloch at SUNY Albany. Central New York, Robert Griffin at SUNY OCC. Finger Lakes, we worked with Dr. Miles at St. John Fisher. Long Island, Kim Foreman at Farmingdale. Mid-Hudson, Bailey Burke at SUNY New Paltz. The Mohawk Valley, Jim Staher at SUNY Polytechnic. New York City, we worked with Gavin Goldstein at Touro University School of Business. And the North Country, Demetrius Boone at Clarkson University. Southern Tier, Epiphany Munez at Binghamton. And that's just a kind of like a snapshot of our organizers, but we're thrilled to be working with them. So just want to provide our emails for you. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. But from here, I'm going to hand things over to James, who's going to talk about the incredible resources that the SBDCs have to bring your business and help you go from student to startup.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Thomas and Shelby and Jenny, for being part of this presentation and giving our students another year of information on how to join the competition. So, my name is James Willey. I'm a business advisor here at the Mohawk Valley Small Business Development Center. So we are located in Utica, New York, and so we're just one out of 20 centers. So we're located in Utica. So I'll provide a map of where everybody else is located as well. But if you were to take one thing away from my side of the presentation, at least, is understanding the services that are available to you if you plan on entering the competition or if you're forming a business in the future. So maybe right now you're saying, this is not for me right now to enter the competition, but you want to form a business down the road. This information can also help you form that down the road. On top of that, hopefully this will help you understand what the judges will be looking for when they give you so it gives you a better chance to compete and move on to each round. As Jenny said, I think we're doing questions at the end. So let me get into my presentation. As I said, the first criteria is being enrolled in a New York State educational institution. And so if you answer yes to any of these questions, then you should be eligible to enter the competition, or at least look into it. So do you have a business idea? Is this something that you have experience with? Is it realistic and manageable? Have you been, cutting grass and doing landscaping on the side, and now you want to start your business, but you have a business idea that you can promote and enter the competition with? Are you currently working on your capstone project? So last year or the last couple of years, actually, we've had a couple students that made it to the state finals and used their capstone project from the mechanical engineer class. So that was a pretty cool thing to witness. Do you currently have a small business right now and looking to expand? So some of this money that can, each region differs, but there's financial, prizes available. So if this money can help you grow the business and expand in New York State, that's awesome. That's going to help greatly. So if you answered yes to any of these questions, then this competition, is right for you. So I know Jenny touched upon a little bit about this. So what do SBDCs do? So we offer free confidential services to small business owners and entrepreneurs throughout the United States. As I said, here in New York State, we have 20 small centers, which with a lot of satellite offices as well. So you should be within 1 hour of any SBDC in New York State. So no matter where you are in New York State, you should be able to receive SBDC assistance. And each center is hosted by a local college, university, including community colleges, SUNY, CUNY, and other private institutions. So some of the SBDC services that are included. The main thing is the one-on-one advising. So you sign up, you sit with us, you talk to us about your business. If it's a startup, we'll help you with that process. How to start your LLC or how to set up marketing or anything like that. So it's a lot of it's in the beginning is starting getting to know your business, what you want to do, but then also assisting you. So maybe you need help on why your business is struggling. We can actually provide some pointers, use some brainstorming sessions, try to figure out and try to help you, with anything you may need. Basically, at the end of the day, we're just here to help you in any sort of business problems and solutions, opportunities that you may have, and we're here to help you. We can also help you with business research. So we have a business, or we have a group of librarians, basically, professional librarians out in Albany that do research all day, and they provide trusted sources. So if you can use that information in your business plan, in your business pitch, that's can be very helpful. We can also connect you with resources. So we've connected with a lot of resources throughout the year. So economic development agencies, some of these agencies have grant funding. New York State Department of Labor, they have a lot of services that can help get your business up and going. We can help with some of these resources are marketing, legal, accounting firms. We have a lot of people in the community that we can actually connect you with if you need some of that help. And also lending partners. We partner with a lot of lending partners, and each SBDC does the same thing, where they all have really good relationships with them, with those lending partners. And so if your business plan or you're trying to get a loan from somebody and that comes from the SBDC, they may trust it a little bit more knowing that somebody else looked at it as well. And then we also provide training opportunities, which I'll go over that soon. And then so the training opportunities, every SBDC is different. So here at the Mohawk Valley SBDC in Utica, we have a newsletter that goes out every Thursday. So some of the SBDCs may have the same thing. And in that newsletter, we provide information about business opportunities, business trainings that come up there. So it's very important to connect with the SBDC and see what they're offering, because each SBDC is different. So some of the SBDC trainings we've provided are marketing, marketing trainings using design programs such as Canva, how to use Canva, how to create your own marketing, basically, in that sense. We've done social media training. So we had a marketing agency come in and teach a session on the differences of social media, what type of content to post, what will be engaging, what's the difference between Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, when to use each social media and what's best for your business. So it was just a understanding of sometimes business owners don't understand, social media and how that can actually help you develop that business. We've had accounting firms, bookkeeping firms. We actually have a bookkeeping seminar coming up in a couple of days. So basically how to use QuickBooks 101, that's anything like that. Access to capital. So we have lenders coming in. I know we have a round table of lenders coming up, shortly, that talks about the different types of loans that are available between SBA or regular loans. So understanding all these things can be very important, especially if you were trying to use that in your business pitch. What resources are you using to help your business grow? Some of the other trainings that we have are government contracting. So we have one government contract coordinator. There's only one in the whole entire state, and we have her here in Utica. So if you're trying to get a contract with the government, or you're trying to have a minority-owned business or woman-owned business, we have somebody that can actually help you with that as well. And then workforce development. I think anybody that's ever in business is going to come up with this. It could be an issue or it could not be, but it's basically how do you get more employees? And there's different programs out there that can actually help skill your workforce or attain a larger workforce as well. So connecting with the SBDC, you'll learn a lot of things, and it's good to at least talk to us to see if we know anything out there that's in the community that can actually help your business or business plan. So SBDC research. So all of our SBDC clients have access to our free research services, which is conducted by the team of full-time librarians, and they have expertise in business research. So it can be particularly useful for entrepreneurs who are creating business plans or pitches, because the information can be used to back up your claim and provide a context around the information that's being provided. As you can see, the SBDC research covers a broad variety of topics and can be tailored to the needs of each client, which includes trademark and patent searches. We can definitely help with that. So for example, I had a client, which I'm not allowed to say who it is, but I can generally say it, is this person had a upholstery business. So they refurnished, furniture for hotels and for colleges and different businesses. So instead of buying new furniture, they just provided the new material and made the furniture new. So this person needed information on all the I think it was all the auditoriums, all the conference centers, all the hotels, specific hotels in New York State, and our research team was able to provide that in an Excel document with with contact information, who they were, an email, things like that, which can actually help. So help that business make those contacts to grow their business. So that's just an example of what our research team can do. So these are the regions, for the New York Business Plan competition. And I wanted to put this map up there because I'm going to put the map of where all the SBDCs are, or at least I'll try to show them. So obviously we're in the green here in Utica, so that covers 6 counties. And obviously there's 10 regions across the state, but this is these are the SBDC regions. So as you can see, there's everywhere you see a mark, that's where the SBDC center is. There are satellite offices which are in between these dots, but this is where our Utica office covers. So as you can see, wherever you are in the state, you just contact your local SBDC. If you can go to, and we'll provide these links at the end of this as well, but it's NewYorkSBDC.org, and then you can make an appointment with a near center near you. So you basically apply, and you'll hear back from an advisor to schedule an appointment with you, and you'll meet with an advisor that way. So I just wanted to provide the map so you can see where everybody's located. So I guess to get to the presentation part of it, so how can the SBDC actually help with your pitch? And I've done this for a few years. I go to our local college here, and they have an entrepreneurship class, and we help them with information on feedback on their presentation. So SBDCs regularly help entrepreneurs develop and refine their ideas. So we also help with writing business plans and create financial projections. So working with that SBDC advisor can help you strengthen your concept, articulate it more clearly, and consider the real costs and opportunities surrounding your idea. As I mentioned, it can also help you with claims you are making in your presentation, and the inclusion of research data in your pitch demonstrates that you have put that work into put that information in making your idea a success. Most importantly, whether it's a lender or judges at the competition, if you're working with a lender or you're working with judges at the competition, they prefer facts and data over feelings and anecdotes. So as an example, it's much better to reference specific growth figures within your industry than simply just saying your industry is growing. And last but not least, your SBDC may be able to help you connect you with economic development resources to help you with your presentation. So obviously, economic development resource could be like your local IDA. They have grants, and they're just very well intercommunicated in the community and can help you out further. So one of the things that I love to do is I pretended to be a judge. So when somebody's providing their presentation to me, I will just judge them like a judge may judge them, and I ask them questions. It makes you look more prepared because over time, the more questions you answer within your presentation, the more prepared and better your presentation may be. So that's some of the things that the SBDC can help you with. Is just help you understand your presentation, your pitch, how to make it better, which could hopefully make it better for when you actually go in front of the judges. So what should you include in your presentation? Working at the SBDC, I've been here for almost 4 years. I've worked with many clients that want to start their business, and honestly, after 10 minutes of talking to them, I still don't know what their business is. So having a clear explanation is very important so people know what your business is. I think that's going to be one of the most important things. If I don't understand your business or your business model within the first 15 to 30 seconds or even less, I think that's when the judges start asking questions in their head, and then maybe stop paying attention to your presentation. So it's just make sure that that's very clear right in the beginning, to indicate what your business is. You'll want to describe your customer. So who is your audience? You may want to provide letters of interest from individuals or companies to assure the judges that people are interested in your business. So if you have a business already planning and going, or you're starting something, if you contact some businesses in the local area that may use your services, have those letters of interest. That's going to help your case, indicating that this has real world value and that people want to use your services. So you'll want to indicate on the benefits of your business. How will this make life better for that customer, for that consumer? Why will they want it? I think these are some of the questions that you want to answer during your presentation. You also want to indicate in what developmental stage you are within your project. Is this an idea? Do you have a prototype? Is it fully tested? So providing a fully clear indication of where you are in the process will also help the judges understand your presentation better. So the business model, you clearly want to indicate the problem you're solving. A business is there to provide you a service and or solve problems that you may have. So that's actually very important. So for the financial portion of it, startup costs, what are the economics of your products and services? Um, the judges want to know, how likely is this likely to start? Do you have the funds available to make this happen? In that sense, also you want to understand, what are your projections going to be? What are your sales going to be? What are your ongoing expenses? So knowing inside and out what your financials are for the business, it's going to be super important for the judges to know. Um, so your numbers should be realistic as well. Therefore, creating financials that are conservative and achievable is going to be super crucial. I remember a presentation last year where a student indicated they would make a few $1 million after being in business for a couple of years. Based on the presentation, that actually created more questions than answers. So you don't want to do that, right? You want to make everything achievable, conservative, so it's something that can actually happen and start. So you want to communicate your value proposition. What makes your product or service unique? Why is it important? Why is it a good idea? And indicate all that. Is it an invention that's going to help humanity? Is it going to help something in our communities? You'll definitely want to indicate what that is. And one of the most important things, and this is just my opinion, is understanding your team. So the structure of your team, who are the members of your team? Explain your team members and experience each of you have and what each of you bring to the table. So if you have a team of, let's say, 3 people, one of you is great at web developing. Another person is really good at financing. Another person is really good in marketing. So during your presentation, make that known. The judges want to know, why is this team going to be successful? Each person is going to be doing something different that's going to elevate the company and make it better. So having that team around you also makes it so you don't actually have to go to outside sources and get the help that you need to actually get this business up and going. So whoever is in your team, make them important, right? Make them important and why they're important, and actually say that to the judges as well. So knowing your competition, and I know I said the membership of your team, indicating that it's very important, but knowing your competition may be one of the most important things that you do. If you can elaborate what your competitors do well and are lacking, the judges will know that you formed this business knowing that information. So for example, if you're trying to create it's not an adventure or anything, but if you have a brick and mortar store and it's a pizza shop, why is it better? Why will more people eat at my location? Because regarding pizza, there's not more people eating pizza. Necessarily, but why? So how are you going to attract more customers to you? Do you have a different recipe? Do you have a different type of pie? Why is it better? Are you using organic products? Are you using own your own mill to mill your own flour? Whatever it is, how are you going to convince people that your shop is better? I think that's really important to know, and knowing what your competition is doing, it's going to be super important. So if you also want to know if your information is proprietary. Have you looked into patents? Is this business achievable, knowing that you're not interfering on any copyrights or patents from anybody else? So that's going to be really important for the judges to know as well. Okay, so markets. So you'll want to describe your target market. What markets and market segments are you targeting? How big are these markets, and how can you sustainably capture them? So for example, a few years ago, I was working with a team. They had a weightlifting app business idea, and so for weightlifting apps, there's a lot of weightlifting apps out there. But there's also a difference. So knowing your market is very important. There's a difference in the number of people that work out, which is a lot of people work out, versus the number of people that actually use weights. So there's a lot more people doing cardio and not using weights versus the number of people that use weights. And then there's also the number of people that take fitness more seriously and actually download an app. So knowing what the full market is, and then knowing what your business, product, or service accomplishes, that's going to be really important for the judges to know. So what is the overall market, and then what is your service or product? How does that target that market, and how big of an impact that's going to be? So market intelligence is crucial into understanding the possibility of success of your business. So if you're, let's say, inventing an app for a delivery service, who are your customers? How many potential customers do you have? Why would they pay for your services? Answering these questions is going to be very important during your presentation, just so it doesn't leave any outstanding questions with the judges. So, on the opposite side of that, what are the barriers to entry? You'll definitely want to indicate during your presentation what are some things that are barriers to your product or service. Is a sector you're in controlled by mega corporations? Is there a lack of manufacturing for the product? Is it difficult to market your service or product? You'll want to identify any details that are barriers to entry, just so the judges know how you're going to overcome those, because they will be having those questions in their head when you're presenting. It's like what can stop this business from continuing? They're going to have those questions. So if you answer that during your presentation, that's going to be super helpful. So this is the scoring rubric, and it should be available in the slide deck for your pitch. But there's seven. Last year there were 6 sections. This year there's 7 sections. So I'll just quickly go through these. So this is what the judges are going to score each presentation on. So the market opportunity. Is there an opportunity for you to enter the market? Why are you entering the market? Is it something that's not too oversaturated? That's that they're going to grade you on that. The competitive advantage. So why is your product or service better than anybody else's? Is there something that you're doing that's much different? You'll want to indicate that during your presentation. The management capability. So this is again, indicating who the members of your team are and what are their skills and how can they develop the business, knowing those skills. And if there are any risks or any barriers in the business, how can this team overcome those barriers and with their skills that they have. The fourth one, financial understanding. So understanding your finances. So what are your startup costs? What is it going to take to expand? What is it going to take? Basically, the funds that are available. So if your project is going to take $3 million to be successful, that's going to be a little bit, maybe not as realistic. So understanding those numbers and making it achievable and making that known during your presentation, that's going to be very important. Number 5, I think there's 5, 6, yep, 5. So the roadmap's growth strategy for your business. So is the team engaged in short or long-term planning? What is the plan going to be? How are you going to start? How are you going to move on? Do you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year plan, and how is that going to work? So let's say for the example I brought up earlier about the business saying they're going to have a couple $1 million of profits after the first year. Well, maybe that's actually better after year 5, but maybe year 1, you're making $20,000, year 2, 100,000, year 3, 500,000. So just growing that number and making that achievable. So that growth strategy is going to be very important. Number 6, so the sustainable business model. Is this something that can continue, right? It's just something that it's not just a one-time and done thing. It's just something that can grow. So indicating that throughout your presentation, that's going to also be very important. And then the last one, which is, I believe this is the last or the new criteria that was added on, was the impact and viability in New York State. So is this something that is going to help New York State or your community? Understanding your regional market and ecosystem is going to be very important. So it's just indicating how this is going to help out, the business world or your community or New York State. Indicate that in your presentation. So this is just a recap of, I guess, some of the biggest tips I guess I would have if you were going to enter the presentation. Make sure your presentation, as I said before, makes sense. So anybody that's not involved in your group, they need to understand what that is. So be very clear about what the business is going to be. Since you may be working on your presentation for a very long time, so maybe to you and your group that's well known, but when you give the presentation to somebody else, that may not be as clear. That's why you want to be as clear as possible. Show your market strategy. So elaborate on sustainability and your growth map. So how is this going to progress throughout the years? How are you going to grow? One of the biggest things here is back up your claims. So, rather than saying we are in a high growth market, for whatever your industry is, say the market is growing at an annual rate of 4%, and then that information is backed up by data. So you'll want to you don't want to do any general statements out there. You want to provide facts and details in every part of your presentation. One of the things I've seen in the last few years is making your PowerPoint look professional. So I've seen a lot of slides out there that are just white backgrounds and simple slides. To me and to maybe some of the judges that may show lack of effort. So just make sure that whatever you're looking at or whatever you're making is presentable, it's professional, it's something that somebody would want to invest in if they were looking or reading into your business. So that presentation is almost like a um, first appearance of your business, and people may judge you based on that. One of the more important things as well is speak loudly and clearly and present to everyone in the audience. So look around, make contact with a few people across the room, but speak slowly as well. You want to make sure that's everything is clear and everything is presented in the right way. So one thing is don't just read off the slides as well, because everybody can read what's on there. So make it your own, put your own spin on it, give yourself enough explanations on there. I've seen a lot of slides out there that are just filled with words, and nobody wants to read that. So just put the minimum that you can put on the slide, and then put your own spin on it. Say what, and your project and your service or your business plan more than you know better than anybody else. So just spin it, explain it better, and don't read off the slides. And then this is probably the most important one is, practice as much as you can. In the end, you only have 8 minutes. So you don't want to miss on the opportunity, of going over the 8 minutes and basically not finishing your presentation, and not completing your presentation. So you want to make sure that you finish your presentation is accurate, in those 8 minutes or less. And then at the end, thank the judges for listening, and ask them what questions they have. So hopefully these are some tips that can actually help you, provide or at least go through the process of making your pitch, your slide deck, and then hopefully you can let me turn my screen back on here, and hopefully you can actually work with your local SBDC and get some feedback on them. Come to them with your presentation and say, can you provide as much feedback as possible? I'm not going to get hurt by the feedback you're giving me. The feedback is going to be much better, coming from an SBDC advisor where they can actually help you than if you actually do that in front of the judges for the first time. So use the resources that are out there for you, and good luck with everything. I know this is a very fun time of the year, and this is just awesome. I wish all students were able to participate in this. And I believe that's what I have here. So questions and answers.
All right. Yes, we'll invite Thomas and Shelby back on screen so we can get some questions answered here. So there are a few that I've gotten multiple times, and I want to go over those from the get-go here. Yes, you will get a link to a copy of the recording and a PDF of the slides. I know there's been a lot of really good information today, and we want to make sure that you have that to reference as you consider your participation in this competition. Also, the services of the SBDC are offered at no cost, so you don't have to worry about those costing anything. Get in touch with your local SBDC and they will be happy to assist you. I also dropped a link about our free, most of our events are free. We do have some specialized programs or longer programs that are offered at cost, but most of the events at that link that I dropped in the chat are free. And so feel free to take advantage of those as well. Now, we're going to get through as many questions as we can as quickly as possible. So we had a question about what type of school people need to be attending, and there's no restriction on it must be CUNY or SUNY or anything like that, correct?
Correct.
All right, we got that one answered then. When you apply, do you get an email notification of some kind to know that like the application went in, or you're approved? How does that work, that process?
Yes. So essentially, you apply on the website, and then I go in and manually approve it. But when I do that, I send an email. So
Perfect.
yeah, I would say if by 24 hours after you've applied, you haven't heard back, reach out to me at thomas@upstatecapital.org, and I'll put that in the
Awesome.
chat. But
Yeah, that would be
yes,
great.
you
I was
will
going
get an
to
email.
I was going to ask if you could drop that in the chat for people who might have questions today. All right, we have an attendee who has some specific questions. So do all members of a team have to be located in New York State? Their particular situation is they have half located in New York City and Mid-Hudson region, but also have some team members who are not based in New York. For instance, one is Canadian. So how would that go down with this competition?
So I would say, based off previous examples of similar cases, only the students who are located in New York can participate in the pitching and the events themselves, but um, you're not ineligible to compete. So you can compete, but only the students based in New York at New York universities or colleges
So it's
can
an
participate.
enrollment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's enrollment.
Okay, so it's enrollment. What about recent graduates?
Depending on when, I would say reach out to us. But if you were enrolled within the current academic year and graduated, let's say you were a fall graduate or a winter graduate, you can participate in the spring competition.
Okay, great. And another question related to that. So do all members of the team have to be enrolled students? So if there are some that are and some
Mhm.
that aren't, would that be that same scenario of some being able to participate and some not? Or how would that work?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. As long as the ownership structure is 51% or more is owned by the students and currently enrolled students, that would be fine. But again,
okay,
only the enrolled students would be eligible to participate.
great. Now, what if you want to do this independently? Do you have to have team members?
Nope, you can certainly be a team of one.
All right,
The winner last year
excellent.
was a team of one.
Okay, good to know.
Several,
It
yeah.
can be done.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Now, just a maybe a little bit of clarification. So if you have team members in multiple regions, then
Mhm.
you basically just need to pick one. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Mhm.
And are there any specific recommendations on which one to pick or how to go about that?
I would say probably the best thing to do would be to connect with each of the regional organizers in the potential regions and just pit their brain to see if maybe there would be considerable overlap in what you're pitching within that region already.
Mhm.
Um, I would also think there's probably opportunities for greater collaboration, like maybe fuse the teams if they're in the same region. But yeah, I think the best thing to do would be to reach out to the regional organizers in each and just see where they're
Okay.
thinking.
And that information, it's on your website, correct?
Yes. Yep.
All
And it's in the
right.
slide deck as well.
Excellent. And yes, you will get the slides.
Yes.
Okay, so we have somebody on the call today who is a client of the Golisano Institute. Is that a conflict of interest for this competition?
Mm-mm.
Awesome. Okay, and then we had,
Thomas,
No,
yes,
go
I
ahead.
think
correct.
that's, yeah, I
Yeah, no.
don't see any reason. If, I mean, no, I don't see any reason that it would be.
Okay. And we had somebody who had a question specifically about SUNY Oswego, but I think we got that one answered when you showed that map. So feel free to put another question in if you do still have any needs about where you fall. And that map that we saw, is that on the website as well?
Yes,
Okay.
SUNY Oswego is in central New York.
Okay. Everything's on the website. Check out the website. Got it.
And you might want to make a point that when you are registering as a student, you do have to select the region that you're in. So
Yes.
you'll go through that exercise when you're registering.
Okay. Excellent. Now, let's see. Do participants have to have an established incorporated business, or are students allowed to participate with business ideas or early stage projects?
Certainly, they can participate with early stage business ideas and projects. We typically have a special award category for concept stage ideas that have a lot of potential. I will say that for if you're awarded prize money of more than 5,000, we do require you to incorporate to disperse the money.
Understood.
But prior to
Okay,
competing, no.
awesome. We have a question, somebody who actually recently won a startup pitch competition at a college. And their business idea has a strongly international component. The client base would be in New York, USA, but many of the partnerships would be based outside of the USA. Does this international focus disqualify this project, or what what happens with that kind of international focus on a project?
That is, it is eligible to compete for sure.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm reading the question again to wrap my head
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah, there's some specifics there.
It's definitely eligible to compete. And one of the prize winners last year had a very significant non-US client base to their business. So it's beyond just eligible to compete, I guess I would say. Could be competitive, could very well be competitive as well.
And
Thank
Jenny,
you.
let me also
Please.
mention with the international component portion, the SBDC does have services regarding this area. So if you're bringing this product or service internationally, contact the SBDC because we have experts in this section that can actually help with that as well.
Thank you, James.
And James, on the economic development side, Empire State Development, the State Economic Development Agency has a program called Global New York. So that offers resources, grants for
Yes, and
international trade.
our Director of International Trade works closely with Catherine Bamberger, one of the reps for Global New York. So feel free. It's a great system and a lot of interconnections there. So you can contact someone and then get the help that you need from various agencies. Okay, let's see. So Paul, making sure again, you do have to be enrolled, correct? Currently enrolled. I know
You
we
have to
had
have
somebody who
been
had a leave of absence or something to work
mhm.
on their startup, but they were not currently enrolled because they had taken that leave of absence to work on the startup. Um,
There's a little
yeah.
bit of nuance with it where it's you have to have been enrolled in the current academic year. So it's August through the end of the year. So like I said, there was an early graduation component. As long as you were enrolled in the 2026 academic year, you're eligible.
All right. And I know we are at time, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We do have more questions. Do you have the time to answer some more questions, Thomas, Shelby,
Yep.
James? All right, we're good. We'll keep going then. Okay. Um, and so, Thomas, there is a
Mhm.
specific, I think, response about that in the chat. If you want to look at that, their
Okay.
specific enrollment there. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Mhm.
To that question, I'm going to take a closer look at our rule book and see.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'll have to back to you, Tyler. Jenny, do you have, oh, did I
Actually,
lose you?
Tyler, so Thomas's email is there in the chat. So I would suggest that you snag that email and then you can get in touch with him that way.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Sorry. That makes a
No
ton of
worries.
sense.
Yes, no problem. Okay, so next question. So it's 8 minutes to speak, correct?
Yes.
And then the Q&A from the judges is more time after that. Is that
Yes. Yep.
right?
And that's
Okay,
up to 6 minutes so that way we can kind of turn the room over and stuff.
perfect. And so the 5-year plan then needs to fit into that speaking time, um, the 8 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. A few questions about that. Um, So let's see, will any participants receive help from the SBDC in developing the business even if they don't win? James, let's have you answer that question.
Absolutely. There's a lot of ideas out there that succeed or don't succeed. But we're here to help you with no matter what. If it's something that, let's say, I'm not trying to sound negative, but if it's something that may not succeed, we're there to help you understand that. Why wouldn't it succeed? And then maybe you don't waste as much time or money and efforts in putting into something that in the long run would fail. I'm not saying it would, but we're there to do anything whether it's from start to finish. A business that's already established or somebody that has an idea. So any type of
Mhm.
business that anybody brings to us.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a
Thank you.
free
SBDCs are
resource.
incredible. I worked with them in my previous role as an economic developer, and they're like legitimately one of the most incredible resources out there.
I was going to say the same thing. Served as an economic developer for 20 years. SBDCs are there for your parents, companies, friends, family, any stage of life. Yes, you can
Yep.
always access an SBDC.
Thank you so much. Yep. And students also welcome. So please come and get in touch with your SBDC center near you. Okay, so travel costs are the responsibility of the individual, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
some regions or some schools do provide transportation, or they'll figure out like a bus situation for the finals or for the regional event. I mean, for
Okay.
some of our regions are huge, right? So, I would again encourage you to contact your regional organizer about that.
Perfect. Okay, and we got that leave of absence question. Okay, so and I think we had somebody who is a 2023 and 2025 Cornell graduate. So any further clarification that you would offer on that, Thomas?
I would think based off my reading of it, not eligible to participate. But again, feel free to email me if there's some nuance to your situation that maybe I'm not seeing.
Thank you. So what is considered a concept stage idea? So a software business is currently developing software and running pilot programs, but pre-revenue. Is that a concept stage?
Shelby, I'll defer to you on this one based off your past judging experience.
I would say yes. You're going to see a lot of businesses that are in the concept stage. Not everyone that's going to enter this competition has a DBA filed in an operating business. So yes,
Hmm.
concept stages, ideas are strongly, strongly encouraged.
I
So
think
yes.
the concept stage award is more designed for if there's a lot of potential in an idea to be like, hey, you're on the right track, you should really pursue this more so than like a defined criteria, if that makes sense.
Mhm. And I believe my judging group at one point did make one of those concept stage awards. So you know it when you see it. It tends to
Hmm.
be someone that's developed something that's got a lot of potential that this award money will give them an extra boost.
Hmm.
Thank you. We have a follow-up question on the leave of absence answer. So the current academic year would then be defined fall 2025, spring 2026. Is that correct, Thomas?
Yes, thank you
Okay.
for that. Yes.
All right. Now, are there any handouts or other materials that can expand on today's presentation?
The website.
Yes, they're on the website. We have a rule book. We have a version of the rubric on there and the previous templates and things like that as well.
And I know I dropped a link to that page. I'm going to grab it and drop it again. The link, this will take you straight to the page that has all of those templates and rule books and rubrics and everything. And then, is there an age limit to being a student?
Nope. Nope. We actually have some early high school students participate, or early college students that are in high school but enrolled in college courses participating, I believe, this year.
Okay. Are businesses that require infrastructure or have other high costs less likely to win in what you have seen?
I would say if you can back it up and the business seems viable, then it's not less likely to win. Um, yeah,
It's got to make sense, right? So
yes.
if the costs are super, let's say super high, that's a problem that this business is having. So how do you combat that? What are your solutions to that? So
Hmm.
that's going to be really important in your presentation is how solving that problem within those 8 minutes you're speaking to the judges and the crowd. Just answering those questions that is going to, help with that.
Thank you. All right, and I think this is our last question. Wow, we made it through the list, and it was a big list. So this person wants to know if they are able to hand out materials to their audience at the presentation. So if they can hand out flyers or anything like that.
Um, I don't know that we have. a set rule on that. I don't
There's no
I don't
reason
know.
why you couldn't. If
No.
there's something that demonstrates what you're doing, a one pager, but make sure it
Yeah.
doesn't distract from your actual presentation.
Yeah, I would say the most important thing is that what's being considered is what's in the presentation. So if it is duplicative of that or, accentuates it, but it's not going to be judged on its own accord.
How about a product? Let's say somebody hands out a product to everybody. Is that
Hmm.
something that's possible?
That's been done many, many times. But just again, I would stress through judging these many times, make sure it's very, very clear what that is and that it doesn't distract the judges from the presentation. It can either
Yeah.
work for you or it can be a distraction.
Yeah. And that 8 minutes goes by very fast. So if there is like you're handing things out that eats up a couple seconds, it can really make or break in some cases.
Mhm.
Great advice. And we did have one more question come in, and it's a good question. So I want to give you the chance to answer this, Shelby and Thomas. This person would like to know, are there going to be other sessions like this? They would love a team member to attend, since this was more detailed and thorough than they thought that it was going to be. So go ahead, Shelby and Thomas. What do you have coming up?
So a number of regional organizers host similar events to this, going over the specifics for their region and resources available. And as Jenny said, we're going to send the link to this. We will have sessions covering various aspects of things like this, but if there's interest, I don't see why we couldn't put together another webinar.
Mhm.
All right. So check for what's going on in your region then, and we'll have the
I would
recording of this.
hold on
Yes,
a minute. What
Thomas.
I can do is I will share the LinkedIn page for NYBPC. That's the best place to stay up to date on what we're doing.
Okay.
Or also send
And
us your
our
emails. Yeah, because we do have an email newsletter that does go
mhm.
out to participants.
Okay. So sign up for the newsletter, follow the LinkedIn page, and you should be aware then of further opportunities to get information about this competition.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much, Shelby, Thomas, and James. We are grateful for your time today in helping our attendees understand more about this competition and what they can do to be as successful as possible in it. Um, and we should have a survey show up here on the screen when we shut down. So if you have a few minutes, we would love to hear your feedback on how you thought things went today, and if there's something else that we here at the NYSBDC can assist you with. Any final parting words here from our presenters today?
Um, I would like to say thank you for the partnership with SBDC. I think Thomas and I both expressed, given the work that we've done over our careers in economic development, the SBDCs are a tremendous, tremendous free resource,
Hmm.
and you should really consider using them, and they will support and elevate the work that you're doing in the competition and help you build really meaningful connections within your region and your community. So thank you so much for your partnership. It means a lot to us. And good luck, everyone. We're here to
Yes.
serve you, and we're really excited about the potential that you have.
Yeah.
Look forward to
Yep.
seeing your business plans.
Really great questions, and I look forward to hopefully seeing everybody's applications come through.
Yeah, and thank you, Shelby and Thomas, for those kind words. And honestly, good luck to everybody. This is honestly a great, in my opinion, a great life experience for a lot of the students going through this and going, I don't know, it's awesome. So enjoy it and, move on to the next round if you can.
Thank you all, and it's always a pleasure to collaborate with the great folks at Upstate Capital on this event. So, all right, we'll shut down for today. Have a
All
great
right.
rest of
Thank
your
you.
day, everyone.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
Bye-bye.
day.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.